Thank you so much for this honor. It's a very humbling experience. I look at all of you, staff and volunteers, and I know how hard we all work for the same goal. CASA is such a wonderful organization. I feel very grateful that I saw an article in the LA Times 12 years ago. My dad was an airline pilot, and he was one of those rare people who said that he was paid to do something he would have been grateful to do with no pay at all. I didn't feel that way about my work. Although I enjoyed working at UCLA, and I was grateful that I could help pay for the braces and college tuition for our 4 children, I had to wait until I started working as a CASA to understand what my father meant. Everyone who knows me knows about my aversion to housework. My friends teased me that I wanted to do volunteer work so that I wouldn't be coerced into vacuuming. And some of that may be true. But what I really love about being a CASA is that I know absolutely and convincingly that the children we work with are better off because of our efforts on their behalf. One of the things I try to emphasize with applicants and new volunteers to the program is the importance of communication. We all know that there are times of frustration and impatience in our work, not the least of which is trying to communicate with all the people in our children's lives. When I get impatient with phone tag and unreturned calls, I try to think about Tammy, one of my former CASA children. I worked with her for almost 4 years, and she lived in a home for medically fragile children. She'd never known a family. She was confined to a wheelchair by cerebral palsy. She was only able to communicate with a few words and some very improvised sign language. As she got to the tween years, her frustration at her limited communication grew. When she was unhappy, she would spit and kick with her one good foot. At one point, the school district was on the verge of stopping her transportation because the driver complained about her abusive behavior. Only when I realized that there were no problems with the summer school bus driver did we understand that she had been trying to get us to understand that the driver was mistreating her. After that, the regional center worker and I were determined to find a better way for her to communicate. We got some experts together and worked to try out different communication devices to see if we could find something that she could use. After trying a number of conventional touch screens, we tried one operated by head movement and then one operated by eye gaze, but nothing worked. Her palsy was just too severe. Finally, we tried a device with a joystick that she could successfully operate with her good foot. Now she could tell us if she was hungry. She could even tell us what she wanted to eat. She could alert her caregiver if she was ill or in pain. Miraculously, an adoptive home was found for her, and she has been adopted. At her hearing, all of us, from the judge to the bailiff, were close to tears, watching the communication between Tammy and her adoptive mother. In recent years, as CASA LA has struggled to move from government funding to corporate and private grants and donations, I've expanded my role to include some of the tasks that were previously done by professional staff. The result of taking on those new responsibilities has been a deeper and more committed connection to the program. When I was just working with the children, I wasn't as aware of the scope of the task before all of us. There are so many more children in need than we can currently help. So I have concentrated my efforts on activities to recruit, to train, and to retain new volunteers. We need to get the word out, and after we train volunteers, we need to work just as hard to assure that we provide the support to make the work satisfying and meaningful. To our CASA children, each one of us is the Child Advocate of the Year. I'm very grateful that my husband and family are so patient with me, They know that my work with the children and at court is a priority for me, so they forgive my messy house, and my husband doesn't even complain about having to fix dinner. My faith is a big part of why I'm here. Regardless of whom a person worships, I truly believe that God offers us all a life of meaning and purpose. It's up to us to find that life. And in doing so, we can help the children have lives of meaning and purpose. Thank you again so much.